Your life still works. You just work for it now. That's the part nobody tells you. Your bills are paid, your phone is on, your fridge has food in it, your laundry gets done, your inbox gets answered, your calendar stays full. Your life still looks like it's running, but somewhere along the way, you stop feeling like the person living it. You became the person keeping it from falling apart. And the strange part is, nothing dramatic happened. There was no breakdown, no collapse, no big moment where you looked around and said, "This is where I lost myself." It was smaller than that. It was the groceries after work, the laundry you forgot in the machine, the bill you almost missed, the appointment you had to reschedule, the email you answered while standing in the kitchen, the text you replied to even though you had no energy left to talk. One thing, then another thing, then another thing. And because each thing was small, you told yourself it didn't count. But small things can still take your life. Not all at once, just slowly enough that you keep calling it normal. At first, you were just trying to be responsible. You wanted stability. You wanted things to be okay. You wanted to stop feeling behind. So you built a life that could hold together. A job, a routine, bills paid on time, food in the house, people who could depend on you, a version of yourself that seemed fine from the outside. And for a while, it probably felt like progress because your life became more stable. But stability came with maintenance, and maintenance never really ends. There is always another thing to check, another thing to clean, another thing to renew, another thing to remember, another thing quietly waiting for you. You don't wake up and enter your life anymore. You wake up and start managing it before your mind is even fully awake. You're already scanning. What time is it? What do I have today? What did I forget? Who needs something? What's due? What's running out? What problem is waiting? You reach for your phone before you even know how you feel, and that's the first sign. You don't ask yourself how you are anymore. You ask what needs to be handled. That becomes the rhythm. Work needs you sharp. Bills need you consistent. Your home needs attention. Your body needs care. Your relationships need replies. Your future needs planning. Your past needs cleaning up. And somehow, you are in the middle of all of it, trying not to drop anything. But nobody sees that as pressure because you're still functioning. You show up. You smile enough. You answer when people ask. You answer the message. You return the call. You handle the problem because there's always something else waiting. And the truth doesn't even sound serious. That's what makes it harder. You're not destroyed. You're not falling apart. You're not unable to move. You're just tired in a way sleep doesn't fix. You're tired because your life keeps needing you. Even when nothing is wrong, especially when nothing is wrong, because when something is wrong, at least you know where the pain is coming from. But this kind of exhaustion is harder to explain. It's the exhaustion of having a life that technically works, but only because you never stop working for it. Your apartment stays clean because you clean it. Your bills stay paid because you track them. Your relationships stay alive because you respond. And somehow, that became the whole job. Your job stays stable because you keep showing up. Your body stays functional because you keep pushing it. Your life stays together because you keep disappearing behind the effort. And after a while, you stop noticing the effort. You tell yourself it's just adulthood, just responsibilities, just another busy week, just a lot going on right now, just life. But deep down, something feels off because you remember having a life that felt like yours. Not perfect, not easy, but yours. Now everything feels like upkeep, even rest. You don't rest because you're free. You rest because you need to recover enough to keep going. You sit down, but your mind keeps moving. You watch something, but you're not really there. You scroll, not because you enjoy it, but because it asks nothing from you. For a few minutes, nobody needs you to decide. Nobody needs you to perform. Nobody needs you to improve. Nobody needs you to be useful. So you disappear into your phone, and then you feel guilty for wasting time. But it wasn't really wasted time. It was the only time you didn't have to maintain anything. That's why it's so hard to stop. Not because you're lazy, because your mind is trying to hide from a life that never fully lets you off duty. Even your weekends don't feel like weekends anymore. They become the place where unfinished life goes. appointments, renewals, things to fix, things to replace, things to remember, meal prep, family obligations, catching up on sleep, catching up on messages, catching up on things you were too tired to do during the week. And by Sunday night, you don't feel rested. You feel prepared to do it again. You don't lose yourself in one terrible moment. You lose yourself every time you choose the thing that keeps life running instead of the thing that makes you feel present. And the worst part is, most of those choices are reasonable. That's why you don't question them. Of course you pay the bill. Of course you answer the email. Of course you clean the house. Of course you go to work. Of course you help. Of course you keep going. Nothing is wrong. That's why you stayed. Nothing looked serious enough. Nothing felt broken enough. So you kept going. And because every choice made sense, you never stopped to ask what all those choices were turning your life into. Each choice makes sense, but the total cost doesn't. Because one day, you look at your life and realize it is full of things you're responsible for, but almost empty of things that feel like you. You became the maintenance system. That's the quiet truth. Stability became another job. The life you built never stopped asking for more. You don't live anymore, you maintain. You don't just maintain your home, you maintain your schedule, your finances, your routines, your appointments, your obligations, all the things that keep life working. And the strange part is, none of these things feel important by themselves. It's just another bill, another errand, another thing to clean, another thing to replace, another thing to remember, another thing waiting for your attention. By themselves, they're small. That's why you never question them. But life doesn't become heavy because of one thing. It becomes heavy because nothing ever stops asking. That's what maintenance is. Not one big responsibility, 1,000 small ones that never completely go away. You know how to answer while tired. You know how to clean while numb. You know how to work while disconnected. So your life becomes a long list of things that must not break. Your income must not break. Your relationships must not break. Your body must not break. And somehow, neither can you. So you keep holding it all together, but holding things together is not the same as living. It just looks similar from the outside. That's why this trap is so hard to see, because your life doesn't look ruined. It looks functional. You have things to do. You have places to be. You have people who know you. You have responsibilities. You have proof that you're moving. But staying busy isn't the same as feeling alive, and being busy isn't the same as living. Somewhere along the way, your life became a list of things that depended on you. The bills, the house, the schedule, the errands, the things that never stopped needing attention. But do they know what it costs you to stay that way? Do they know how often you sit in the car before going inside? Not because you love the silence, but because the car is the only place where nobody needs anything yet. You just sit there, keys in your hand, bag beside you, phone face down, a few seconds before you become useful again. And in that tiny space, you can feel it. Not clearly, just enough. You can feel that you're tired of entering rooms where something will be asked of you, even if it's small, especially if it's small, because small things are what filled your whole life. A question, a reminder, a chore, a request, a decision, a notification, a payment, a thing to fix. Nothing huge, just endless. That's why you can't explain why you're tired. There's no single event. There's just the weight of being permanently available to your own life. And maybe that's the part that hurts most. You worked so hard to build a stable life, but now that life needs so much maintenance that you barely get to experience it. You wanted a home. Now you manage a household. You wanted relationships. Now you manage expectations. You wanted freedom. Now you manage the consequences of surviving. And because all of it is normal, you feel guilty for complaining. And maybe you are grateful. That's the contradiction nobody talks about. You can be grateful and still feel trapped. You can love parts of your life and still feel consumed by maintaining them. You can have what you once wanted and still miss who you were before it required so much upkeep. That doesn't make you ungrateful, it means you're finally noticing it. But honesty is hard when your whole life depends on you staying functional, so you push the feeling down. You keep the routine moving, you keep the bills paid, you keep the house running, and the feeling waits. It waits in the quiet parts, when the house is finally silent, when the screen goes dark, when the workday ends and you don't feel relief, when you wake up already tired, when there are no more tasks left for today, and somehow your mind is still preparing for tomorrow. Because the honest answer is not simple. You're not bad. You're not great. You're maintained. That's what you are. You are kept together. You are doing what needs to be done. But somewhere underneath all that functioning, there is a person who hasn't been asked what they want in a long time, and maybe that person stopped answering. Not because they disappeared, because every time they spoke, there was something more urgent to handle. A bill was more urgent. Work was more urgent. Someone else's need was more urgent. The next day was more urgent. So your inner life got postponed again and again. And postponed long enough starts to feel like gone. That's how maintenance takes over. It doesn't attack your life. It becomes your life, quietly, politely, responsibly, until one day you realize the thing you call your routine is actually the structure keeping you from noticing how little you feel. You wake up, you handle things, you get through the day, you recover, you repeat. From the outside, it looks responsible. Inside, it just feels exhausting. You stop looking forward to things. You stop wanting much from your days. You stop noticing what excites you. And after a while, getting through the day feels like enough. Now, a good day is just a day where nothing gets worse. A good day is a day where no one asks too much. A good day is a day where you finish enough tasks to not feel guilty. That's how small your definition of peace became. Not happiness, not aliveness, just no emergency. Just no extra pressure. Just enough quiet to breathe before the next thing. And maybe that's why life feels strange now. Because you're not failing. You're maintaining. And maintenance can look exactly like success. If nobody asks how it feels, your life still works. That's the trap. It works because you work. It stays clean because you clean. It stays paid because you pay. It stays calm because you absorb. It stays stable because you keep adjusting yourself around it. And the world rewards that. People call you reliable. They call you responsible. They say you're doing well. And maybe you are. But there is a quiet difference between doing well and feeling alive. And you know the difference. You know it when you finally get a moment alone and don't know what to do with it. When rest feels uncomfortable. When silence makes you reach for your phone. You know it when wanting something immediately turns into a calculation. Do I have the time, the money, the energy? When your life looks fine, but you don't feel inside it. Nothing is wrong. That's why you stayed. That's why you kept going. That's why you didn't question it sooner, because the bills were paid, the routines worked, the people around you believed you were fine, and every day gave you just enough proof that life was still moving. Everything can keep working, while something in you quietly checks out. And maybe what you're feeling isn't laziness. Maybe it isn't weakness. Maybe it isn't a lack of gratitude. Maybe it's the quiet exhaustion of realizing your life became something you manage more than something you inhabit. You don't live anymore, you maintain. And the hardest part is, tomorrow will probably look normal. You'll wake up, check the time, reach for your phone, think about what needs to be done, answer what needs answering, handle what needs handling, keep the life working. And maybe nobody will notice, because nothing will look broken. The bills will still get paid. The groceries will still get bought. The laundry will still get folded. The emails will still get answered. And you'll handle them, like always. Because that's what you've become good at. But somewhere underneath all that maintenance, there's a question you stopped asking. Not what needs to be done. What do you actually want? And maybe that's the difference. What you call having a life is really managing one.